Today I'm in the grounds of Ballycastle Presbyterian Church, here to visit the final resting place of two RUC officers murdered during the dark days of the Troubles. One close to the start of the Troubles in the 1970s, and then one in the 1990s. It's a very fine church building, this. You can see the round tower here in the corner. Relatively un-Presbyterian. Certainly very scenic, and just sits off Castle Street over there in that house there in the corner. There's a blue plaque in memory of a native of this town, Dame Louise McElroy, renowned doctor. The blue plaque was unveiled to her within the last year or two. It's a relatively compact graveyard here. The older graves would be on the left and the newer ones on the right. This is the first member of the RUC I'm going to talk about today. You can see there about the middle, Robert David Laverty, RUC, killed on duty 16th July 1972, aged 18 years. You can see, sadly, he was predeceased by his father, who died 10 years before him, aged only 38. And his mother, she passed away aged 75 in 2003. You can perhaps see at the top of the headstone, Allenvale Park. That suggests that that's where the family lived. That was their home address here in Ballycastle. 1 past midnight on Sunday, 16th July 1972, Constable Laverty was a member of the mobile patrol travelling along the Andon Road in Belfast when the vehicle was ambushed by two gunmen who opened fire from Willowbank Gardens. Constable Laverty, who was a passenger in the vehicle, was hit in the head and received injuries from which he died shortly afterwards. The funeral was held on the 18th of July from his home in Ballycastle here to the Presbyterian Church behind me, where he worshipped. He was interred here after the service. RUC band led the cortege and the church was packed with people paying their respects. 18-year-old Robert David Laverty. Then over in this section then, as I mentioned earlier, some of the newer graves are over here. The older ones are to the left. And I'm here to talk about a man called John Spence McGarry. This is John's final resting place here. And as you can see, it says, who died in Ballycastle at the hands of evil men on 6th April 1981. John was born in Ballycastle in 1945 at 2:10 p.m. on Saturday, 6th April 1981, Detective Constable Spence McGarry was off duty, parked his car in the public car park in Castle Street, in other words, not far from here. At about 4:15, Spence returned to his car. As he drove off, an explosion occurred underneath the car, set fire to the car, it rolled downhill and collided with a parked car. The detective constable died instantly from his injuries. He was aged 46, it says in his headstone. He was a married man with 3 children, a son. He was aged 19, 2 daughters, aged 17 and 13. And he was a resident of Limavady, but he hailed from the town of Ballycastle here. He joined the RUC in 1972. As in 1977 was attached to the CID, the Criminal Investigation Department, Strand Road in Londonderry. During his police service, he received 5 commendations for good police duty and survived a terrorist ambush in which he was injured at Castle Dawson in 1976. A man from the Ballycastle area here was later arrested and charged with the murder of Detective Constable McGarry and sentenced to life imprisonment. His funeral service took place on Tuesday, 9th April, from his home in Limavady to the First Limavady Presbyterian Church, and then interment followed here in Ballycastle Presbyterian Burying Ground. He was accorded a full police funeral with the RUC band leading. His coffin was draped in Union Jack. So again here in the grounds of Ballycastle Presbyterian Church, Spence McGarry here, and then Robert David Laverty. 2 members of the RUC who were amongst the more than 300 officers who laid down their lives during the dark days of the Troubles.